Donovan Live Postgame Show is off and running on this Thursday evening. I'm Dave DiNatale along with Jimmy Donovan, and fresh off the Donovan Live studios, coming over here to do the show. Fresh off. And boy, you put it out there with a Jimmy's Take. Those are always, between Think Pieces and Jimmy's Takes, those are always must-see TV. We've got a link to it right here on our Facebook page. Because the parade's in town. They're getting ready for Saturday's Cleveland Browns. It's called the Browns Perfect Season Parade 2.0. That's going to be at the stadium at noon. And of course, there's so much talk about it. You discussed the parade, but there may be, if you're the Cleveland Browns right now, and fans are wondering what the impact is going to be of potentially thousands of people walking around the stadium Saturday in essentially what's a protest.
Yeah.
And that's important. We're going to be out there. We're going to be streaming it here on our Facebook page and on WKYC.com. I'm going to be bundled up out there. That's all important. But there's something else that the Browns should be more concerned about, I think, and you laid that out tonight on the show.
Yeah, I think, it's first of all, I think it's important to say it's not a parade, it's a protest.
Yes.
You're protesting. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but even the organizer agreed with me when he was on with us a couple of nights ago that you're protesting the way the team is being handled, the way the team is being run, and there's a lot of evidence, that you could be correct. I mean, they've only won one game in the last 2 years. But, so you're going to be heard and you're going to be seen on Saturday, and I'm not here to tell you not to go, and I'm not here to say it's a silly idea or anything like that. If that's the way you want to show your displeasure and voice your concerns over the way the team that you at one point loved is playing and performing, then so be it. Now, I think, though, that there has been an ongoing displeasure with the way things have been going with the Browns. For instance, it's very, very visible to me and to anybody that watches the games, or if you were at the games, the last 3 home games became empty, emptier, and the emptiest.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, there were a lot of empty seats. That is, to me, a concern for the Browns to say, wow, people are displeased.
Right.
They're not coming to the games.
Right.
And then you start to take a look at television ratings. Now, the NFL has gone down, 10% again this year, in their television ratings over all of their platforms, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, the Sunday schedule, Monday Night Football. They're down 10% after being down 8% last year. But even locally here in Cleveland, you've noticed that the Browns ratings have gone down because people are maybe tuning in and then saying, you know what, they're losing.
Down 7-0, down 14-0. Click.
That to me is, I think the Browns are hearing that loud and clear, and I think that's of concern to them, and they realize already, without one step being taken in the protest or parade on Saturday, they realize that they have a problem with their fan base right now, and the people are saying, hey, listen, we'll come back, and I think that they will, but it's more of a wait-and-see approach. We'll come back when we're going to wait and we're going to see what you're going to do to improve this product. And when you start winning, we'll be back.
Right.
And there's no doubt in my mind that football will, be restored to the lofty position that it holds in Cleveland historically once the Browns are competitive again and start to win. So I really take a look at that, Dino. And I think the toughest job, certainly in Northeast Ohio right now would be to be a sales rep for the Cleveland Browns and to be calling up current season ticket holders, asking them, are you going to renew, or trying to go out and get new business? How do you sell that?
Right. I always thought, as bad as things have been since 1999, the argument was, well, if fans are upset, they don't have to get season tickets. There'll always be somebody else waiting in line to take the place.
You've always heard.
We've always heard that.
You've always heard that there was a waiting list for tickets. Well, through the years, there's no wait any longer. I mean, you can get tickets, and, it's not like in times past. I mean, in times past, tickets were passed down through families. Right? That isn't the case anymore. The fan base has been worn down, and there is a generation, and we've talked about this, that have never seen them win.
Right. And it all goes back. I mean, and Chris McNeil told you and we hear this all the time. Why can't it be like the 80s? Well, I mean, that was, unfortunately, that was 30 years ago. I mean, and now, instead of, as you put it tonight, as we're looking at all the fans from the last couple of home games there, and again, you can see right there what you're talking about. Empty seats, Jimmy. I mean, and bags over the heads. I mean, January's 30 years ago used to be about playoffs, and there was, folks, I'm telling you, if you're below, I think, the age of 40 years old or 35 years old.
How about that?
Yeah. When all the world was Brownstown, that's what it was like this time of year, because playoff football was coming, and the songs and the just the hype and the mania.
I just thought it was absolutely.
It was great.
It was amazing, and I was coming from I didn't grow up here, and I was coming from Burlington, Vermont, where I was doing radio. And I came here, and Kozar came, and Marty was coaching the team, and the dog defense was out there barking. Dog Pound was the place to be on a Sunday afternoon. The build-up during the week was just unbelievable. Every day had anticipation for what was going to come the next day, because you were another day closer to a playoff game or a big game on a Sunday or on a Saturday, as is the case, for instance, when they played the Jets and they had a couple of other Saturday playoff games. It was unbelievable. There's no doubt in my mind that will return, but but we are a ways away from getting there, So it really was a precious time, and I would love people to experience it once again.
The one thing I when I go out there on Saturday, and I will be curious to just pull a couple of fans aside that are going to be down at the stadium and going to do this, and ask them, will you come back, and what's it going to take, and what do you want from this franchise? I mean, obviously wins. I mean, I'm not, but what do you want to see? What's going to make you come back and say, yeah, I'm in? Is it getting the quarterback? Is it a different head coach eventually? I don't know. I don't know. But it's fans are upset, and as you point out, the apathy is setting in. So
well, that's the worst thing that can happen to a franchise or a business. But in this case, a sports franchise, you worry about apathy. I mean, that would be the thing that would be in the back of my mind, moving up to dominate my mind. If I'm out in Berea, I would worry about a state of apathy setting in. Now, I had started to see it, for instance, in the preseason, because the preseason games, they're not packed, okay? And, season ticket holders still have to buy those games to come in, and that's a league-wide problem right now, is that the NFL really should do something, set up a different pricing system maybe in regards to tickets for the preseason. But I did start to notice it in the preseason, because remember when they came back, preseason games were packed too. I mean,
totally.
You were going down to a brand new stadium. You were excited that they were back. And then it started to filter through, and it got a little bit earlier every year once the losing came in. I mean, typically if they were losing, but it was late December, still you had good crowds, especially if you had a division rival coming into town. But then it started to get a little bit earlier, maybe by Thanksgiving. More people started to say, you know what, I don't think I want to go down there. I don't think I like the way they're playing. And that's the problem. I mean, what's going to happen on Saturday is, that's the payoff, I guess, for an 0-16 season. But I really think long term, I think they're worried about getting those fans back and getting them back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because I mean, this is now, we're getting into the Cavs, where the Cavaliers have things all to themselves. And Isaiah Thomas is back, although he didn't play last night. I'm not even concerned about the Boston game. But, the Cavs are going to be a source of excitement, because, this is another march towards a potential finals run, and, with LeBron James leading the way, and it's exciting. And then you get into baseball season, and,
and there's going to be excitement
about that.
Let me just tell a story that I maybe will make you feel a little bit better.
Oh, I hope so.
Turnarounds do happen, okay? And they happen in the NFL. What is the model franchise right now?
New England Patriots.
Absolutely. You're right. You can move on to double jeopardy. Okay? He's right. The New England Patriots are the Cadillac of everybody right now. I mean, the Patriots have created their own mini city out in Foxborough called Patriot Place. Let me tell you a story, okay? There was a time when the New England Patriots were the biggest joke in the NFL. I happened to be doing games, regional games on NBC, and the Patriots were terrible. Yeah. And they had brought a coach in from Syracuse, Dick McPherson, who just recently passed away. Yeah. Terrific college coach, but out of his league in the NFL. And the Patriots were the laughingstock of the NFL to the point where nobody was going to their games. Even the Patriots had this happen to them. I was doing a game on a Sunday afternoon in December where they were taking on the Indianapolis Colts, quarterbacked by Jeff George.
Yes.
The Patriots were going to be quarterbacked on that afternoon, on a Sunday afternoon in Foxborough, at, I think it was called Schaefer Stadium then?
Yeah.
It was called Schaefer Stadium. Yep. Okay. They were going to be quarterbacked by Scott Zolak, who does their games on the radio now, but I mean, that's why he's doing their games on the radio. The pre-sale for the game, 12,000.
Oh my! In a 70,000 seat or 65,000 seat stadium.
65,000 seat stadium. They were hoping for a sunny day on Sunday that they might get a 5,000 walk-up to make it 17,000 at the game. The Patriots stadium was decrepit. Their ownership was a family called the Sullivan family.
Yeah.
Okay, and it wasn't until Robert Kraft came in.
Because Victor Kiam was kind of in between. And
he liked the company so much he bought it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And they were a mess.
Yes.
Okay, nobody wanted to play for them. They couldn't get coaches. The stadium was a mess.
Yep.
Their parking lot was a dog track. There was a dog track right across from the parking lot. They had 2 lanes going into the stadium. It was always a hassle to get there traffic-wise, even though they only had 17,000 people. And I said to myself, they're going to move.
Right.
And, they were rumored to be going to be sold and going to be moved. St. Louis was a site for them that they were going to go to. And look at where they are right now.
Right.
I mean, it all turned around. It can be done, and I'm hoping it will be done. Okay, I can't promise you it's going to be done. I would say this, that I think out in Berea they hear you with empty seats. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know they're interested in looking in at what's going to happen on Saturday. They're bracing themselves for that, okay? And the effects of that, how it's going to be carried and covered locally, certainly nationally. But the fact of the matter is, I think they've heard you and they're doing everything they possibly can do to try and turn the thing around. But it is turnaroundable.
Yeah.
It really is. It is turnaroundable. So, Robert Kraft comes in. He gets Bill Parcells, who brings in Bill Belichick.
Right.
They get Drew Bledsoe.
Yep. Go to 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then Belichick becomes head coach. They get Tom Brady, and the dynasty begins.
There you go. And that's how it happens.
But
and then they get a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
They've got hotels, shopping plazas, malls, Patriot Places, what it's called.
Yeah.
They've become bigger than the Cowboys.
And Foxborough was like Richfield, where
it was.
It was just.
It was where you'd go in the fall. You wouldn't go to the Patriots game. You went out there because it was beautiful foliage.
Right.
Really.
That's
there's a white steeple church, with beautiful fall colors. And there's a football game going on over there. It was a mess. Right. 12,000 was the pre-sale for the game I was doing. Suffice to say, it was blacked out locally.
That's right. That is rock bottom. All right. We have no shortage of reaction coming in. I was looking over my shoulder there. David Herverton is with us. He's got questions and comments. Herv, fire away.
Yeah, Jim and Dino, we have a lot of people weighing in on this. And there's both sides in our comments right now. We have a pro side. David says he's for it. We nicknamed this town Believeland for a reason. Isn't the point to laugh at ourselves and show that we're good sports about it? And the other side is Vincent saying this parade, quote-unquote parade, is going to hurt fans more than the team, and that it'll just become another punchline for Cleveland, like the river fire.
Yeah.
Well, and this is what Ben Axelrod wrote about today, is that, since LeBron James came back in 2014, there's just, you felt like there was, this whole idea of Cleveland as a loser sports city gone. Cavs win the championship. Indians have a magical run.
Yeah.
And so, we're not, the woe is me stuff is over. And now this is almost like a woe is me returning. And so I get that point. I absolutely understand why some fans feel embarrassed, but on the flip side, why they feel like there's, you can only call a sports talk show so many times, and trust me, you and I have done sports talk. You can only hear from John and Maslin, so many times, or vent so much. You just want to get out there and feel like you're a part of something, because you're not a part of what's happening inside the stadium.
Well, I mean, it's to the people that feel that are very sensitive towards it, that
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's a bad year. It's a bad era,
Yeah.
really. But it's a very bad year. 0-16. It's something. It's something I hope soon we're going to look back on.
Yeah.
And say, wow, do you remember when we were 1-31?
Yeah.
And that will make that time when it does turn around so much more sweeter.
Yes.
Right? I mean, because, when the Indians had the great renaissance in the mid-'90s, so many people looked back and said, boy, do you remember when we'd come down to the old barn,
Yeah.
the old municipal stadium, and the only day that there would be people, there were 2 days, weren't there? Opening day and bat day?
Yeah,
Wasn't it
that's
opening day
it,
and bat
that's
day?
That's
and
it.
then that was it. Nobody else went. You didn't go the rest of the year. And then suddenly, it turned around and you couldn't get a seat in the place. And that's what made you appreciate
Right.
it more.
Right.
So I realize this is very tough. It's tough to take. And if you take it personally, I'm not making a joke out of it. Believe me, I sat and watched it,
Right.
all year long. And it's a difficult thing to watch, and it's not pleasant. But when it does turn, it's going to make it
gonna
so
be
much
special.
sweeter.
It'll be
it will be incredible.
It'll be
Yeah.
special. Herf, what else we have?
One question: will Jeffrey says, reminder, the team is the embarrassing part here, his words, not a parade. So will it be enough of a wake-up call to Jimmy Haslam will it affect any sort of change with the parade?
Well, see, I think he got the call. I think that's why 5 weeks ago he hired a general manager.
Yes.
Who does that?
Right.
I mean, you wait until the last game of the regular season, and the next day, the Black Monday, right? you air the thing out, you clean it out. But
Yeah.
they didn't do that. I mean, he realized it had reached a point where to be competitive in the general manager pool, okay, you had to get in.
Yeah.
Suddenly the Giants had fired their GM and their head coach, so you had to compete against them.
Right.
And he jumped right in. He didn't wait. A lot of people would have waited until Monday morning to do something.
And I always appreciate it, as we see John Dorsey there now, the general manager of the Browns, that
AKA, hopefully the savior of the Cleveland Browns.
Please, John.
Yeah.
The fact that they really vetted this guy. Jimmy Haslam talked to Ron Wolf, Hall of Fame executive, who John Dorsey learned from, and said, tell me about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Can he be a guy to change a franchise? Yeah. I mean, Ron Wolf gave him a glowing endorsement. To me, that's credible. That's a guy that you want to have, with 5 draft picks in the first 50 or whatever the Browns have this year. That's the guy you want to buy the groceries, as we joke. And so, yeah, I mean, to your point, yeah, Jimmy Haslam heard you. I mean, heard everybody.
Yeah, I think he heard it, and I think he continues to hear it. I think it's troubling to them, and I think at least right now, I mean, there's nothing they can do right now. Okay, I mean, they've played their hand. They've brought a new GM in, and they made a very, very conscious decision to keep the coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no game this week. They can't go out and change that. No. And we just have to, and I think that's what the fans are saying. Hey, we're going to wait and see.
Yep.
We'll be back, but we have to see some results.
Yep.
I really think that's the temperament of the Cleveland Browns fans and the fan base right now.
Boy, amazing number of comments. Let's get one more, Herf, if you've got one for us.
Yeah. Where did it go? Here it is. All right. Well, first off, Joey says, great job at the Hofbrauer House last night.
Oh, listen, thank you very much. I'm glad there wasn't a mess. That was the big key, but I appreciate that.
Okay. And then there's another one on here. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he asks if this will affect free agents at all. Would they not want to come here if we throw parades like this?
Well, that is a very good question.
Interesting.
It's an interesting question. I'm going to give you the case of Tony Jefferson. Safety coming from the Arizona Cardinals, went into free agency. The Browns went after him, rightfully so. and offered him a sum of money and a contract. It appeared as though they were the top bidder, which means you're going to get the guy, right? I mean, that's, you're going to get the guy.
Right.
The Bucks talk. The Baltimore Ravens made him an offer less than what the Browns offered him. He signed with the Ravens because he thought that they had a more competitive fighting situation to make the playoffs. Now, they didn't make the playoffs, but still, I mean, that is a concern right now, and that's where John Dorsey, I think, has been doing some background work, communicating with agents and explaining what his plan is here in Cleveland so that those agents would have the ear of their clients and say, hey, listen, Cleveland's got over $100 million to play with in free agency, but they also have a guy right now that's got a plan in place, and it's not, this goofy plan of analytics.
Right.
Because I think a lot of free agents would go, turn that off. Analytics, we're football players. And I think that's what he's been doing, Dave, in the weeks that he's been in Berea.
By the way, Joe Hayden went on record today, the former Browns cornerback now with the Steelers, calling the idea of a parade lame. Herb, I see you with the button. You have one more that you wanted to read to us?
I wanted to share my favorite comment from the thread.
Please.
It's from Joy. She says, I cried more about my Browns than my divorce.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry. I'm very Joy. I'm very sorry about your divorce.
As am
but
I.
I think that in a little off way, that is encouraging that there is still that passion out there for the Browns. You must get it. I mean, I get it in a million places when you go out over the weekend, and if you're out and about. I mean, gosh, there's pain in people's eyes and comments that are saying, I love the Browns. I mean, I want them to win. This is very, very difficult to go through, and it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
What else, sir?
One more question from R. Scott Vaughn. He asks, if they change the name from parade to protest, would it be an issue at all if they were up front saying it's a protest?
Here's I think the reason why that, and I can't speak for Chris McNeil, but this is speculation because it is a protest more than a parade. If you call it a parade, then you're going to attract more of the national carnival barking people who say, "Oh, there, look at Cleveland." It's a way to garner more attention. I think. I mean,
well, let me ask you
that.
You're right. Let me ask you this. There'll be playoff games on Saturday.
Yes.
On national TV, on the networks. During those pregame shows, will they say, look at what happened in Cleveland today?
Let's cut.
I think you're right.
I think they will.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, we were already asked today by affiliates in other markets if we were covering this thing, and we are. I mean, so this is by calling it a parade. They've garnered more attention, and you know what? Good for them. That's how you do it. That's Ringley, it's a P.T. Barnum type stuff.
Right.
All right. Great stuff from all of you tonight. Thank you for the questions and the comments. Jimmy, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. I'm off.
Oh, you're off.
I'm
That's
off
right. Tomorrow, Friday. That's right. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll do it again Monday.
We'll do it again on Monday. I'm going to be very interested. As I told you the other night, I will be cleaning the stalls on Saturday. I'll be very, very interested. I will be taking attendance.
Yes.
Down at the parade/protest on Saturday. I'll be tuning into you guys to see what happens.
Yes.
Because I think people are curious.
People are curious.
They do have a curious. Everybody's got that curious gene. I wonder what did happen down there.
Right.
I wonder how many people did go down there. What was the tone down there? Yeah.
So I'm going to bundle up. I'm going to wear
Please do.
I'm going to wear 8 layers, and.
But as I said,
we'll
on my take, okay, my hope is that soon, on a Saturday, on a bitter cold Saturday in January soon, we will be going down there hosting a playoff game.
Yes.
Because that is going to be, that's when we know that we have lived through this and survived.
Yes.
And we will survive this.
Yes. I want more than one playoff game on your radio play-by-play resume. Please. Please.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it.
It affects my pension.
All right, for the voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, for David Herberton, I'm Dave DiNatale. Thank you all for watching the Donovan Live Postgame Show here on Facebook Live.